Hi everyone, I am super excited to be here and to be speaking to you today. We have so much to be talking about, and I am going to be walking you through my four-step process essentially for optimizing every website, email, and essentially funnel that I work on for my clients and others. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn off my camera just so it's easier, so I know that everything's working, and I'm gonna try and share my screen with you guys. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, Lynn, for letting me know. Let me know, guys, in the chat that you can hear me and see me. That would be perfect. Thank you. So whenever I start working with clients or students, the first question I ask them is, why do people buy from you? I've been doing optimization for many years now and kind of really helping companies optimize their funnels and do meaningful A/B testing. And the first question I ask is, why do people buy from you? And normally the kind of answers that I get are to do with features, shipping, the product itself, the pricing that they have, and really just about the solution that they're offering. However, I really truly believe that if that was the case, if that's why people bought from you, then we would see a lot more landing pages like this. Coca-Cola would, say that they're the #1 soft drink in the world. They talk about the fact that they have, the best price, that they only have 140 calories, and so on. So they really focus on that. But they don't do that, do they? And none of the big companies that we know of, the biggest brands in the world, don't do anything like this. However, when we do look online and we look at the different websites, that's just everything that we see is just like this. Zoom says they're the #1 video conferencing and web conferencing service. Everything here on the page is about them, where they are in the world, how good they are. This company says, they're the better way to sell software. Here are all our features. Here are the companies that trust us. This company talks about, being the winner of Time Magazine's best inventions. So everything really is very, very centered on who they are, who the company is, what they sell, and why they're the best. And the reason this happens is really because we've somehow over the years have convinced ourselves that this is how people buy. So when someone has a decision to make, if they're going to download a guide, if they're going to start a free trial, if they're going to buy a product, they go for an elaborate process of really, contemplating the pros, the cons, what makes sense, what doesn't, and then they make a decision. However, the biggest brands in the world and scientists know that this isn't how people make decisions in life. This is. Everything we buy in life has an emotional reason to it. It's all connected to our emotions. In fact, Antonio Damasio, a very bright guy, essentially ran a very interesting experiment many years ago on people that had brain damage. These people were fully functional. They did everything as usual in life. The only problem they had, the brain damage that they were experiencing, is that they couldn't feel any emotions. Now, they could do everything just like any other person in the world, but they had one big issue. They couldn't make any decisions. Now, I'm talking about they couldn't even decide what sandwich to have. If they wanted to have, avocado sandwich or a cheese sandwich, they couldn't make any decision because the emotion was taken out of the equation. And so many psychologists, psychiatrists, scientists have proven time and time again that emotion is the basics to every decision that we make in life. There's always an emotional component in the decisions we make. Whether if it's because we want to feel loved, perhaps we want to feel part of a community, maybe we want to feel more successful. Sometimes we just want to feel, more proud of ourselves. But whatever it is, no matter what you're selling, what people really, really care about isn't the what, it's the why. It's that emotional benefit that they get. And that's why when you look at the biggest brands in the world, this is what they look like. They don't talk about the product or how much it costs. They talk about the feeling that you get from using their product, from hiring them, from taking on their solution. However, when we go back to our drawing boards, when I speak to my clients, when I speak to my students, and I ask them, who is your customer? What are their emotions? What are they feeling? If I asked you right now, who is your customer? Chances are I'd get a long list of the browsers they're using, their age, their geographical location, where they are in the world, how old they are, gender, and stuff like that. Because we all default to graphs, numbers, and really kind of data. And the problem is that if we create a funnel and we see that the funnel isn't working, something's not adding up, and we need to optimize it. Normally, when you look at a funnel and you need to optimize it, there's kind of like, I guess, 3 very, very basic steps. I'm not going to get into all the steps today, but I'm just going to make it as simple as possible. So let's say something's wrong, so we need to find the leak, right? Let's say we found it on the landing page. There's a problem with the landing page. That's where the biggest drop-off is. So then we create a new variation, and we say, okay, great, fantastic. We need to create this new variation in order to optimize, and we test it. Fantastic, which is, it's phenomenal, fantastic. It's exactly what we want to do. The only problem is that most people, when I speak to them, they don't really know what variation to create. How do you know what is going to work better than what you already have? I mean, you've put in so much time and thought into everything that you do. Why would this new variation work? What's going to make it tick? So normally when you look at these when you look at these A/B tests, this is what you normally get. You get a fantastic landing page on the left-hand side, and then the variation, which is essentially changing an element on the page. We'll change the headline, we'll change the call to action button, maybe we'll change some bullet points, but that is the go-to when it comes to A/B testing. We all just move elements on the page, because we don't really know how to optimize our landing page or our email sequence or the ads that we're creating. The thing is that conversion optimization isn't about changing elements on the page, and I learned this the hard way. Conversion optimization is about solving people's problems. If you can understand exactly what are the emotions that drive people's decisions, what pains they're experiencing every day, what challenges they have, what's waking them up at 3 a.m. and bothering them. If you can really tap into how people make decisions in life and the problems that they're facing, you can create a high converting experience for them. And that's essentially where I started developing the emotional targeting methodology, because I used to create A/B tests that kind of just switched elements on the page, because I was doing button tests and call to action tests and headline tests, and I didn't get the results that I wanted. I created this process that focuses on emotions, on understanding how people make decisions, the emotions behind the decisions, and then showing them on the page. And it's so much easier because once I know what people feel, it is easier to create a more high converting experience for them. Now, the core of the emotional targeting methodology is based on answering 4 questions. If you can answer these 4 questions, you will know exactly what copy to use on your page, what images to choose. You'll know what your strategy should be and everything. So number 1, what pain does my customer feel before finding a solution? So what are they feeling right now before they have found that solution that they need? Number 2, what are the emotional triggers that drive her decision making? What are the emotions behind every decision that she makes? Number 3, what are the hesitations and concerns before converting? And what does she want to feel after finding a solution? So as I mentioned, if you can answer these 4 questions, these will be the answer to everything that you need. Because if you know what they feel before, if you know what drives her decisions, if you know the hesitations, the objections, the concerns that she has, and her desired outcome, you can create high converting landing pages, emails, websites, whatever you are working on. And in our work throughout the years, we've actually identified over 223 different emotional triggers. So there are so many different emotions at play at the same time, and it's never the same thing, and it's never, it's not the same for the same industry, for the same company, for the same competitor. It's always different. So it's important to get to know those emotions. So a while ago, a company contacted us and they said, Talia, I really need your help. We're trying to increase signups for our free trial for our product, but we also want to get people to really start using the product and really see the benefit of it. So I asked them, okay, what have you been doing so far? What are the things that you've tried? And I said, well, we tried, reducing load time. We know loading time is a huge thing. We tried changing the call to action buttons, which everyone knows can work really well. We tried reducing steps in the funnel. So maybe, reducing the forms, creating different fields, trying all sorts of different elaborate ways to just reduce the amount of work a person has to take on the page. We also tried changing the headline. And the other thing that we tried, is an exit pop-up. Okay, so they tried all of these great things, which, don't get me wrong, these things can work. They can deliver some nice results, but they're never going to get you to what you really want, which is a substantial, meaningful uplift that isn't just going to peak for one moment and then die over in a few weeks. You want something that not only will it optimize your conversions, top of the funnel, you want to see something really affect your revenue, and you want to learn from these tests. Because as we mentioned before, meaningful conversion optimization solves people's problems, which means that if you can learn what emotions affect your customers, what challenges they have, what roadblocks they have, then you can apply all of this to every other part of your business, your customer success, the retention, the sales team, email marketing, and everything. So we took a look at this website and we really tried to analyze what was going on. And after looking at all the data, Google Analytics and heat maps and stuff, we went and did our emotional targeting research. And what we saw is something that we see common, which we spoke about before, which is everything here is about the product. It's all about the platform, the features, their image, their go-to kind of hero image is a video that tells you how to drag and drop things. So this really was a problem, and that's why we dug in and started identifying the emotions of our customers in order to optimize their page. So here are the 4 steps that we took to identify those emotional triggers and the results of it. Number 1, we identified their stage of awareness. Every person in your funnel is coming from a different stage of awareness, and it's on you to understand where they are in this process. Are they unaware? Are they pain aware? Are they solution aware, product aware, or most aware? People who are unaware are essentially people who have no idea that they have a pain. They're just walking around in the world. They have no idea that they're even, that there's a problem that needs solving. Your only job is to make them pain aware. Pain aware people are people who know they have an issue. So for example, they know that they have a problem communicating within their distributed team around the world, and it's a pain. It's something that's driving them nuts, but they don't really know that there's solutions out there. They're not really sure what they can do, so they just walk around carrying that pain. Next, the people who are solution aware. Solution aware people are people who know they have a pain and they're actively starting to look for solutions. These are the people that are reading blog posts, articles, they're searching on Google for solutions. They're really trying to dig into the different options that they have that could solve this problem. Do I need a platform? Do I need different types of meetings? Do I need to change the way we work? So these are people who are actively looking for a solution. Then we have product aware people who are aware of us. So these are people that have been doing their homework. They're in the process of evaluating who is the right person for them. They may have heard of you, they've already heard of you, but they're not completely sure that you are the right solution for them. This is actually the first point in the entire funnel when you start talking about yourself. Everything beforehand is about the customer, their pain, how it, agitating it, making sure they understand how it affects their life, talking about the different solutions that they've tried. But product-aware people are people that are in the process of evaluating your offer. And this is where you can start getting into your features and your pricing, and you can start differentiating yourself from your competitors. And most aware is essentially the people who are ready to convert. You just have to show them the right button. Now, as I mentioned, people come at various different places within the funnel, and people come in pain aware sometimes they're product aware, and it is important for you to identify what stage of awareness they are, because if you know that they are pain aware, or if you know that they're product aware, your landing page is going to be completely different. If you know that they're unaware, or if you know that they're solution aware, your ad is going to be different. So the goal of understanding the stages of awareness is that when you know that someone is in one stage, you're only goal is to move them to the next one. You don't have to move unaware people to most aware. You just have to make them aware of the pain. You just have to turn pain aware people into solution aware people and slowly move them through the funnel. Now you can identify these by either doing two very simple things. One, keyword research. So start looking at what people are using to land on your website. You can do it with your SEO tool that you're using to see how people, what keywords people are using to land on your website, and on-site search. What are people searching for on your website? People that are, for example, on Google searching for your brand, they are product aware. The people that are searching for a particular pain, for a particular article, are more likely to be solution aware. So this is a great way of identifying what stage of the awareness people are on different pages. And of course, their landing pages. If people are landing on your pricing page, they're more likely to be product aware. If people are on your blog, they're more likely to be solution aware. So the understanding this is a very, very key part of identifying what kind of content should we even be including on our client's website. So when we did this research and tried to identify for our client what stage of the awareness are, we discovered that most people were solution aware. So fantastic. Now that we know they're solution aware, our job is to address that on the page. Then number two, actually speaking to your customers. Now I know this is insane, and to most people this sounds terrible. But for me, when you don't speak to your customers, if you're not doing surveys, polls, interviews, if you are not actively speaking to your clients, you are basically wasting a ton of time and money. And to me, it's just like spending months and months and months on planning this beautiful, amazing product that you are absolutely sure that people need and are going to love, only to find out after months and tons of money that you've spent and all the marketing budget and product and emails and everything that you've created, only to discover that they don't really need your product at all. They're not into it. And that's because you didn't really get into people's feelings, minds, hesitations, concerns, and desires. So the number, if you do anything from what we're going to speak about today, I urge you to do customer surveys and visitor surveys. Here's some of my favorite questions that I love to ask. So we have, there's a few bugs here. Okay. What pain does the product solve for you? What was going on in your life that made you search for this solution? When you weren't using this solution, how did you solve this problem? And if you couldn't use this solution anymore, what would you miss most? These are the 4 top questions I love asking people, because when you get the answers, they're far more meaningful than questions like, how did you find our website today? Why didn't you buy from us? Why did you buy from us? What is your favorite feature? Those questions don't help you get to those emotions, but these kind of questions really do help you. The only thing is that when you ask questions, sometimes people will answer logically, which means, because when we make decisions, we essentially make an irrational decision, but then we justify it with logic. So maybe we chose it for an emotional reason, but then we'll say, well, it was 1, 2, 3. Here are the most logical and rational reasons that I made this decision. So I like to use the 5 whys. And here's what it does. Essentially, you ask a question and then you keep asking why until there's no whys left. So in this case, we asked people, what persuaded you to sign up? And they said, well, you had the most features. And that to me is very curious, because why would you need so many features? When you think about companies that create infographics and presentations, there's so many free tools out there that have wonderful features. Why would you need something different? So, okay, why do you need so many features? And they said, well, I needed something different. Okay, this is interesting. Why do you need something different? And they said, well, I wanted to create something memorable. Now, this is when we knew that we were hitting something, because when you need to create something memorable, the question is, why do you need to create something memorable? And the answer was, I needed to stand out, or I wanted to be appreciated by my peers, or I wanted to be appreciated by my managers. This was the answer that we kept getting over and over again when we ran our customer surveys. And this is bingo, the exact reason why people buy from this company. And that is because they're marketers in a sea of marketers, and they're all creating beautiful reports and presentations, and they all want to stand out. They want people to recognize that hard work that they did, and they're looking for a tool that they don't mind paying for as long as they can create something memorable that will stand out from what everyone else is doing. So, and after you actually speak to your customers, and we did this with our client, we realized that there were a few key things we needed to point out. Number one is that people wanted to stand out, they wanted to be appreciated, and that they don't have design skills. This is three of the themes that kept coming up from our customer surveys, that people wanted to stand out, they wanted to be appreciated, and that they were worried they couldn't use the tools because they don't have design skills, yet they still wanted to create something memorable. Next stage in identifying those emotions is talking to your team, doing the exact same thing. It's understanding what your team feels, is thinking, and how they're actually treating, your customers. Okay, so here are my top questions that I love asking teams. What pain do we solve for the customer? What persuades customers to take an action? Why do you think people buy our solution, and what could we do better? Now, the idea of asking the team is identifying those discrepancies. So what are the customers saying, or your clients saying, versus what the team is saying, and how can you connect the two? So it's really important to also speak to your team and conduct these interviews or surveys. Last but not least, checking out your competitors. Now, there's many different stages when into the conversion, into the emotional targeting process. But these are the top four, and checking out your competitors is one of the most important ones. Now, I do want to point out that when I say kind of analyzing competitors, I don't mean copying them. I don't care what features they have, what their pricing is, and I don't mean going on their website and blindly copying their messaging, because they have no idea what they're doing either. What I mean by analyzing your competitor website is that you are essentially trying to figure out what people who should be buying from you are saying about your competitor. Now, you can analyze your competitor's website, or you can use websites, solutions like Capterra, where people go and review products to see what people are really saying. What you're looking for is testimonials, reviews, people complaining, people adoring the solution, people saying what pains them, what annoys them, what they love, what they're missing, all of that stuff, because this is what people who should be buying from you are saying about other people, and then you can use that to your advantage. So here's just a quick screenshot of what we did for our clients. So a lot of the things that kept coming out is people were saying that these competitors were helping them showcase their presentation skills, that it made them look 100 times better than PowerPoint, or now everyone knows about Prezi. People see the presentations and they just think, oh, well, yes, Prezi. It would be cool if Prezi did something new that could bring more attention. It helps, it brings attention to our public. It has to gain recognition between the companies that are like us. So if you look at everything here is about that self-image. What are people thinking about us? Are we standing out? Does it help me look better in front of my peers, my managers, my clients, my audience? It looks really professional. All these things that people are saying, these are just further ways to prove that that you are in the right direction, that this is what you should be talking about on your website. So what do people want to read, see, and feel on our client's page? Well, they want to see the outcome. They want to know that they're great at what they do, but we're simply going to make them notice. We're going to make people notice that they're amazing at what they do, and that it's simple and easy to use. So here was the original design, and here are the two variations that we created. Number one, make impressive infographics. So this is about the outcome, okay? This is about you and the fact that you are going to be impressive. Reducing that fear of being not knowing design by saying you can create this in less than 10 minutes and showing people the outcome of what they can create. We got a 24% increase in registrations, and, well, 76% increase in creation of presentations. Here's another variation that we created. Same copy, but different type of visual, different type of emotion. It's a magic wand. It's like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. This is what's going to get you the look that you want, those eyes that you want, that impression that you want from your peers, your managers, and your colleagues. And we got a 74% increase in revenue. So this is, again, the fact that we used the emotions, understood who these people are and what they needed to actually see on the page, helped us increase their revenue and their conversions. But many times when I show this example, I get people tell me, but Talia, we can't always do, redesigns, and we don't have the brand, the money for it, or the width for it. We're working on so many things. So I just wanted to show you a quick landing page and how we help Social Media Examiner. So Social Media Examiner has a fantastic, phenomenal conference every year called Social Media Marketing World. And their landing page is amazing. So it's nothing like any other landing page you probably can even imagine when you think about landing pages. Let me just quickly show you how long this landing page is. Now, this is a blog post. This is their landing page. This is their sales page. This is how they sell tickets to their event. So it starts here and it continues down here to here, 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 more and more and more. So we're talking about over 2,000 words of a landing page, scrolling more and more. Nothing here with, calls to actions as you may, be used to seeing them. There's nothing here that's very, similar, looks even closely to what a normal, regular landing page looks like. But we did our research, and what we found out with our emotional process is that people were feeling confused. So people that do social media marketing felt overwhelmed with the speed of the social media world changing. They were confused. They weren't sure what to focus on. They didn't know what strategy to pick. They needed a better direction. They needed someone to guide them through it. They felt lonely, that nobody really gets what they're doing, and there's just so many things changing all the time. So in this case, we couldn't do a redesign. We couldn't change everything. So what we did is we actually added an entire section of copy. We made the page even longer, and we essentially described the pain that they were feeling. We talked about how they felt, and we painted the picture of what could be. So funnily enough, we got a really good result. We got 41% uplift in signups, and we got 15.93% increase in sales and revenue. I'm showing you this because it's very important for me to explain that messaging is key to increasing conversions and to tapping into emotions. So you don't have to spend a ton of money on insane A/B tests. Sometimes just understanding who these people are and writing the right copy for them that identifies with their emotions can be the key to your success and increasing conversions. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that emotions really do affect decisions, and decisions affect conversions, and conversions affect revenue. So what you need to start doing is stop asking what your goal is and start asking, what is my customer's goal? Because only when your customers achieve their goals will you achieve your own. So thank you very, very much for listening to me today, for bearing with all the technical stuff that was going on. I really want to thank you. If you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer them. I don't know if we have much time. And now I don't know if we have time for questions or if the next speaker is coming on. Let me know. And I will answer, or you can always reach out to me. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Okay, guys, so if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and ask any questions that you have. And if not, you can always reach out to me on Twitter, and I'd be happy to do that. So we have a few questions coming in. Ross says, how do you conduct emotional marketing research? So I just went through the 4 steps out of quite a few other steps that we take, but the emotional research essentially starts with speaking to customers. So doing surveys, polls, interviewing people, identifying the stage of awareness of people, and of course doing competitor research. There's many other things that we do. We do profiling, psychological profiling. We do UX and UI analysis. We do heuristic analysis. We really kind of dig into the different emotions that are out there. But the idea at the end of the day is that you are really tapping into people's emotions, so you can always test everything and see what is the right direction for you as you progress. Sometimes you'll test things and the emotions won't be the right emotions that you're testing, and you'll want to try something else. Okay, so I think I've answered everyone's questions. I do have a PDF of the presentation, so which is uploaded into the system, so hopefully you will receive it via email. If you have any questions, or if you want to reach out to me, or you can do that via Twitter, or you can jump straight into our website and download all of our free resources. We have a lot of guides there for psychological triggers, finding emotions, Google Analytics, and other stuff. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. I had a wonderful time, and I hope to hear from you soon.